All right. Hi, everybody. This is A7XfanBen with Xerecs, and this is Pirate CSG Podcast number 52. How are you after all this time?
Man, it's been a year plus. I'm good. I mean, we've survived 2020.
Yep.
So, huzzah. None of us have gotten scurvy.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right. So we're just going to do a little random podcast here for people listening, just kind of a short one just to get back into things. Part of it, too, just to test out our equipment after it's been a while, or at least for me. And I should be able to do more podcasts this year than last year. Yeah, so we were just talking about how on Shout Engine it shows the last podcast, number 51, with Get 'em Powder was April 4th, 2020 release date. So it's been like 13 and a half months. And the one before that was December 2019. So I should be able to do more podcasts this year. Like I said, I'm going to try to get at least one more with former WizKids, like Pirate CSG employee on the podcast, hopefully. And then maybe more than one, hopefully. And then I was talking about on my vlog that I released earlier today that my commute home from work right now is kind of lengthy. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to record a podcast like hands-free talking on my phone and then like upload it from there. So just
all right, well, don't drive off the highway when you do that, man.
Yeah.
That would be catastrophic.
Yeah, no, it should be fine. So I was making a call the other day, and it's just like my phone interfaces really well with my car's like the center display thing, so it should work fine.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then basically I'm in Hawaii, but that could actually work well because I might be going home between like 3 and 6 p.m. each day. So that'd be like Pacific time, like 6 to 9, and then like Eastern time, like 9 to 12 p.m. So it could actually work decently well despite the time zone differentials. So
yeah, and you never know. Maybe one day we'll get someone from the European players on the podcast.
Yeah,
because I know there's some people all over the world who play the game.
Yeah,
exactly. You could get someone who's actually like ahead of you.
Yeah,
it's like wait, it's like 3 to 6 for me. It's like what, 1 to 2 for you or something.
Yeah,
like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's been weird coming back from the deployment because we were in the Middle East for a while, which is like ahead of U.S. times. So I had to like, when we were coming back east to get back to Hawaii, I had to like readjust because then I was so used to being ahead of like where my family lives to talk to them on the phone, and then we get back to Hawaii and all of a sudden I'm like 6 hours behind. I'm like, oh wow, they're already like going to bed now. So I'm like, oh yeah, now it's the opposite.
So instead of jet lag, would that be boat lag?
I guess, but the thing is like, we did like time zone shifts like 1 hour a day, like every other day for a few weeks as we were steaming east. So it wasn't like jet lag where you have like a 3 or 5 hour difference in a day. It would be like 1 hour every 2 days. So it didn't really affect us too much. So it wasn't bad because it was all staggered. But yeah, and then one of the weirdest part is crossing the international date line. We repeated a day on Sunday because when you go west to east across the international date line, yeah, it's pretty bizarre. So we had like an extra Sunday, but it kind of just made the last week longer. But oh well. But at least we're back, so that's good. And yeah, so
go to mass twice.
Yeah, right. And then so I've been making Pirates content, some unboxing videos and whatnot. So then I was just telling Xerecs before we started recording, I'm hoping to fire up my 3D printer right after this for the first time since November. So it might be kind of a process to get it working properly again. But eventually I plan to test out Pirate Captain Andrew's 3D print files that he posted on the Thingiverse. So, and that's one of many projects I talked about on the vlog. So yeah. There's been so much great stuff posted on Discord the past like 2 months or whatever. It's really amazing.
Oh yeah, those guys who want to make, I think they called it Iron Islands or something. The Discord handles are like it's like Chops and the other guy, I think Vulcan, who made the 3D printed ships.
Yeah.
They're like it's like early Steam battleships to the best of my knowledge. It's been a while since I looked at what they were doing.
Yeah, that sounds
And
bad.
what they were doing is like loosely basing it on parts, like movement is measured like this, and ranges are measured kind of like this. But I think there was also like a rock, paper, scissors element to the game where it's like, okay, this class of ship can beat this class of ship, but they can't beat that class of ship. And this other class of ship can beat them, but not them. As far as I know, it's historically based, or they're trying to be as historical as possible. It's like, I think the 19 teens, like either pre or just post World War I era, which for pirates is a wee bit
Yeah,
beyond, because now
I
you're
won't
getting into like,
say
okay, well,
that.
you've got you've got turreted gun emplacements on ships, armor piercing rounds. You've got armored on ships, like, made of iron plate and other stuff. Which is a far cry from, gunpowder cannons, really just, wood ships with, sails and spar. But it's a really cool game, and I've seen some of the pictures they've posted of, like, okay, here's, like, the battleship, here is, the cruiser, here's the transport, here is just the patrol boat kind of thing. It's like, these are really cool.
Hmm.
I have to, like, give the rules a good thorough look over. It's like, okay, this is something that, I would play, but I need to, like, really read the rules and figure out, okay, what's the best way to, like, maximize this? Do I want to, like, just go and sink people? Or is there, like, another option where I can just, grab gold and stuff like pirates?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I probably won't play that one just because I'm so embroiled in Pirate CSG stuff. But yeah, yeah, I like the Pirate CSG stuff they've made over the past few months. Like all the 3D printed, like the Bouch one with the decals and stuff
Oh,
looks really cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, I
Yeah,
saw a picture of that. I couldn't tell that was a print at first.
right? Yeah,
I was like,
so
wait a
good.
minute, wait a
Yep.
minute. I had to like, wait, I had to really look at him. Like, okay, the artwork is a little bit faded from how a Bausch one kind of looks, but
Mhm.
it looks pretty spot on.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm scrolling through the Discord. Oh yeah, Arshalin has got his site project going. That's one thing I want to
Oh
do
yeah,
sometime like in the next month or two is like keep track of all this stuff and like document and record like people's methods for doing it, like what they've talked about, like how they're doing it, so other people can recreate it. And then if they're willing to share, that's cool. If not, that's fine too. But yeah, so Vulcan with the 3D printed decal chips, he's like the farthest along in terms of like pure progress. And then Andrew's prints, he's got a lot of good 3D print files, so he's got a lot of different models people can print using their 3D printers, so you don't have to recreate all the files from scratch, which is really cool. I'm still so glad he shared that the Thingiverse post he has with a ton of the. He doesn't have all the ship types that I'm aware of, but he has a ton of them, so that's really cool. Arshellen with his site project, and Arshellen has posted. I'm looking at this 3D ships like picture, and he's got. I don't know if Arshellen's actually trying to make something like that in terms of like a playable game, but there's definitely some potential here for something that would eventually look similar to the Sony online entertainment version of like a virtual
oh yeah, the
game of
3D
sorts.
renders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the renders. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, I saw those.
mhm.
I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, he's got some like animations, I think, of them just like spinning around.
Yep.
Like, okay, that's pretty nifty.
Yeah.
Like, if we could find a way to get, like, that for, like, a game, we could just, have campaign games there. But that might take a lot of horsepower on a computer. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's
Vassal's
like,
still the way to go for now.
yeah, I know, because even right now in CG4, we've encountered some serious lag due to the massive launch
Really? You have?
pace. I have, yeah. I guess your computer upgrade is now your computer is actually better than mine. It's been like a reversal, I think. So,
Yeah, I switched over from a laptop to a dedicated, like, PC with monitor.
oh,
So
interesting.
that might be why.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's something I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to get given my like transitory lifestyle, but even if I don't, I do plan to upgrade my laptop probably this year. It might be after I get over to Washington in like September, but yeah, it'll probably be this year. I just got to do enough research. And that's something I'm probably not
And
going to
like
be.
Washington, DC or the state of Washington.
Oh yeah, yeah, Washington, Pac Northwest area, Pacific Northwest. Yeah. So,
Ah, all
yeah,
right, all right.
yeah. So, And that's
Hey, on the
something
West Coast.
the laptop is something like that's like one of the small handful of things in life that I would not hold back on, like getting a really good one. Kind of like pirates, like sometimes cost kind of goes out the window. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I want it. It's like, or you want like the high
Yeah, you
quality
get
stuff.
like those like a gamer laptop. It's got the RGB
Yeah,
like keyboard things, all the like the lights and stuff. It's
yeah,
like yes, my briefcase laptop
yeah. Even if I
with like
only use
a
it for like in terms
2 foot
of gaming,
screen.
like Vassal gaming and stuff, even if I only use it for that, I might just get it anyway, just for like something really good and with like a ton of storage, stuff like that. So yeah, eventually
Oh
I'll
yeah.
definitely do that, probably after Hawaii, but yeah. So and then
No, for if
speaking of
for storage.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
no, you go ahead.
Like okay, so like for storage, because I take pictures of stuff. Something I've wanted to get my hands on are like compact, like 1 to 2 terabyte external hard drives.
Yep, I thought
They're
about that.
fairly, yeah, they're like phone size. If you've got like or like I say they're phone size, they're like I think not all that large.
Hmm.
Like you could easily put them in a briefcase and just take them with you.
Yep,
You just need something to connect to the laptop with like a connector cord
yep,
or some kind of USB plug-in thing.
yeah.
And that way you can keep stuff not on the laptop, you can keep it on the hard drives and
Hmm.
just take them with you.
Yep, yeah, I like that idea too, definitely. And then speaking of CG4, you just took your latest turn in that game pretty recently, and then I'm hoping to start my turn tonight
Yeah,
finally. So
I wound up like I literally spent like two. I think I spent like a literal month taking my turn.
exactly.
Like I did the Jades, I did the Spanish, and then I got to the conglomerate and I succeeded on bringing in a UT, and I was like, uh-oh, which one do I choose? What do I choose? Oh crud!
Yep.
And I didn't want to like move everything else and then do that because strategy and stuff is like,
Yep.
okay, if I bring in this, then I need to do this.
Yep.
But there's other like bits here. I was like, okay, what can I bring in that is useful, that hopefully won't hurt me
Yeah.
or like won't make me a target too much.
Yep.
It's like, oh, and the resources changed too. I rolled 3 straight 6s.
Hmm.
6
Yeah.
for value and then 2 6s for duration. So
Yep.
we've got 12 rounds of this.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't matter for the pirates. It doesn't really matter for the cursed. To an extent, that doesn't matter for the conglomerate.
Yep.
For everyone else, that matters. Like
Yeah.
the English, I think, and the Corsairs are gonna really benefit from that because they've
Yeah.
got that, I think, the food island or something up north.
Spices,
The one
right?
that produces the number 5. I think, yeah, because
Yeah.
your resources are different than mine.
Yeah.
Sort of like for me, number 5 is food. For you, it's spices. Whatever. They've got that. I think that one is valuable according to the chart on the rules.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
So
think,
under a 6 roll, spices as 5 would be the most valuable at 6 gold apiece. Yep.
and everything else like is like not worth a whole lot.
Hmm.
Like if the pirates all of a sudden didn't use their UT stuff to bring in the hidden trove for whatever reason, they might be in a slight bit of a hole. Because I think all the islands around them, except like in the archipelago and where they attack the Spanish, all of those islands now produce something that's worth like 1, 2, or 3 gold.
Yep.
But there's like 100. Okay, I need to do like go back and look at the most recent count before your turn, because I think there's like 300 plus ships in play. And the pirates, I think, have a literal third of them, if not more.
Oh yeah, I think it's more than a third because I think you reported on the email. You reported like 335, I think, and I know at the end of my last turn, I think the pirates had 148. So yeah, so it'd
Jeepers.
be more than
Oh, jeepers.
yeah. Uh,
Oh,
it's so
jeepers.
great. Oh, but yeah, this gets into the ludicrous options the pirates have available in that game. But yeah, so even if the resources aren't valuable for the pirates, yes, hidden trove basically gets around
Yeah,
that.
they can still
But
just
then
hidden trove.
yeah, but then it gets better because with the arcane, they can bring in. This would be bizarre, but they could bring in like Celestin's charts or something to reset their own resource values of their islands, make them unexplored, and then they explore them again and maybe they get spices. So even if hidden trove wasn't available, there would still be ways for them to manipulate things to their economic advantage in the long term.
Maybe I shouldn't say this, but there's a UT that, they could, if they were just particularly diabolical, there's a UT, I think it's from Fiends of the Blood Islands. It's called Adrift.
Oh, yes.
Basically, all islands reset to unexplored, and in parentheses, if used in an economy game, everything goes back to being a blank unexplored island.
Oh, yeah.
So all resources globally get reset across the board. So, okay, we know what values are, but now no island produces resources. So it's like, oh, shoot.
Yep. Oh,
So if they were especially diabolical, they could do that. And I'm like, now that I've said that, crud.
No, that's actually something I considered, because when, I think soon after the Arcane was launched, I went through every single UT available. All customs, all WizKids, everything I could even lay eyes on the internet and elsewhere. So I thought about that and I saw that. But I will just hint that they have much more diabolical things to potentially yank into the game than Adrift. It is a solid idea though, and an interesting one. It would be kind of interesting to do that, just kind of like to change it up, just to, in case like the game gets stale at all. So that could be a consideration, and not just them, of course, because now I mean the conglomerate can do that with Mata Nui. So if they wanna just like make it, just change it up.
I'm assuming he'll survive the next turn.
Yeah.
I'm exceptionally worried. I'm assuming he'll survive.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what.
Yeah, I mean, your question about homeline rating is making me nervous. I'm like, oh no, someone's gonna get it.
Yeah, no, that's not that. I'll be upfront about that right now. For anybody wondering, I proposed a rule change to the CG4 rule set that allows home island raiders to take whatever they want from an enemy's home island. Like you can look at the coins and whatever else they have, including face down UTs, which could be interesting. And then take whatever they want instead of having the loser pick. But I'll be upfront right now and say that's not a pirate strategy ploy. And I wouldn't want to like. I try my best not to propose rule changes or edits that benefit like my strongest faction or anything. But like with the home island rating thing, that wasn't like a pirate thing. That was just me wanting to. Well, kind of that. I mean, that's how I play it nowadays. So I just prefer the house rule, but also it makes the ability more viable. Which in a campaign game with usually a lot of ships around every home island, it's not that viable in campaign games most of the time anyway. So it can use all the help it can get to even see usage. So, yeah.
Yeah. For the record, for that, I'm in favor of doing that because I already kind of do that. Like, whenever home island rating happens in the summer games, it's like, okay, whoever's attacking chooses the coin. So I've done that semi-unofficially or whatever, just like between me and my brothers, like, yeah, okay, whatever, just take the coin.
Yeah.
But like the other thing that happens too in those games, I have like apparently like mentally scarred one of my brothers. It's like anytime something with home island rating on it enters the game, he's like, where is it? I must kill it. Yeah. Doesn't matter who I'm playing as. It's like, get rid of it. It's like, cause I'm like, oh no.
Oh god.
Where he's like, if that gets within 3L of me, I am killing it.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could do another podcast after my upcoming CG4 turn. I made a like what the hell is going on like overview a few days ago. Partly because it's been so long, and because it's been like 7-8 months since my last turn, or since like a full round went by basically, and it's just like the game has gotten more complex to some extent, and it's just I don't think I've done that with this game yet, and we're reaching. It's not like anything like the mid game or anything, but like we're reaching a point in the game.
Well, in theory, it's not the mid game.
Yeah, it should be early. Yeah, but like we're reaching a point where it's like worth it to do a what the hell is going on type post just to give a good overview.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I took a look at the ocean globally when I finished my turn. I'm like, okay, the mercenaries have like 10 ships. The Dutch, I think, have like 10 maybe as well. Yeah. The French are slightly better off. Yep. The Americans, before they attacked the Cursed, had like, 24 or something. And like, okay, Spain now has like, slightly less than a dozen. And the English are growing a little bit. So out of everyone who is not the pirates, not the Cursed, or like some other people, I think the conglomerate is like the third or fourth best faction because they've got the most ships currently.
Yeah.
I think after like the Pirates, the Cursed, and I think either the Vikings or the Corsairs.
Yeah.
But like it's still like for the fact that we've been playing since I think late 2018.
Yeah, so April,
and we're still early game. Yeah, I mean, although the other thing I'm worried about is you as the Pirates could just go, okay, I am like we're done playing around. We've got the most ships. Time to just wipe everybody out, and we'll just okay, corner to corner, we're all pirates now. So that's like, oh crud. That eventually, I'm figuring that eventually is going to happen. I'm like, oh man, how do we try to survive that or stop that? I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't know if there's a way. Because also, you've gone into like custom stuff that I myself haven't seen.
Yeah.
Like, the very end of the customs database has like links to other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff by Vlad, I didn't really know existed.
Yeah.
Because it was on Pojo, which I was never part of. I was part of mini trading for a while.
Yep.
So I knew about stuff that was on mini trading, like, God Mason stuff, myself, obviously, some of the stuff that you posted there, Cazador, his stuff, and I think the guy who made the lighthouses, what's that, Jeremiah?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, him. I know about that stuff. Like, okay, that stuff I'm pretty familiar with. But, like, the stuff made by Vlad over on the Pojo forums, like, wait, what? Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I got to take a look at some of that stuff for, like, if the Spanish can recover, they're like, okay, let's try and get some of that stuff, maybe. Or some of the other things.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Pirates have a lot of plans. I will say that. They have a lot of different ideas on what they're going to do and how to proceed. So we'll just have to see. And then, yeah, maybe we could do another short episode about the game or this game and other games after my next turn. But you've got a campaign game of your own coming up, hopefully, right?
It's actually funny. Like in, I think, like a literal week, I think, is the 1 year anniversary of last year's start date for Century of Economy 2020.
Yep.
So I started, like, I think last year, like May 24th or 25th, and the game didn't end until September 20th.
Oh, man. That's
so
awesome.
That's a lot. Yeah, it went for a long time, but also in games, we didn't intentionally do this, but there was like at least a month of skip time where we just didn't play because like here and there added up. Like, a day or two here, like I think the longest we went without playing was like a week and a half at some point because of one thing or another. I mean, that was the summer of 2020, so everyone was inside for the pandemic. Southern California and Australia were both on fire, I think. Yeah. They're like, okay, we're just going to stay inside and be happy.
Yeah.
And like, okay, the game doesn't always necessarily make us happy, so we'll stay inside and we'll try not to like hurt each other. But I have, I think, 9 reports for that up on my channel. And I've been, behind the scenes, I've been trying to work on them and keep them up. I've got scripts for like, I think reports 10 to 15. And I still have like 1,700 plus pictures to go through.
Oh my god!
For this, I'm like, oh god, yeah.
Yeah, that's a.
And I want to try. Yeah, I want to try to start this year's like on the June 11th to 12th. I want to try to start this year's then.
Cool.
So I'm like, I need to really sit down and do some crunching. I mean, I should have done it over the winter, but when the game ended. And all that stuff and coming up through the holidays, I was like, oh man, like 2020 got to all of us. I wasn't necessarily in a good mental spot for like that entire winter, starting really from like the latter half of October through to like the new year. I was like, I just don't want to do stuff. I've discovered Minecraft for the first time. I'm going to just mine stuff.
Yeah, that's a project, and I know that's intimidating because I've gotten behind on reports a little bit in the past, and when you do, you have to like sit down, reanalyze, like figure out where pictures go, what the hell is going on in the pictures. Even if you have text, you have to match it up with like captions and like try to remember details that you wanted to add, but now it's been so long that maybe you forgot some of the details, then you just start rushing it, and it just I totally That's why I try hard not to get behind.
My other big thing is.
Yeah.
I mean, I say this every year, and every year I do the game, I get behind. I'm like, great. But like the biggest thing for me is not remembering, details of this thing and the thing is like, all right, that ship in the background, what ship is that? Because it's just out of focus. I can't tell what it is.
Yeah.
Or it's like, okay, this faction did a launch because, here's all the new ships. From top down, what are these ships? Like, I got to study the artwork on the deck, but it's like, okay, compare this to stuff that we have in our collection. Is this a custom ship? No, okay. It's Spanish. All right, so that gets rid of half the other ones. All right, how many Three Masters have this kind of artwork on their deck plate or like, on the main deck of their ship? It's like, okay, all right, it's probably that ship. Yeah, all right, let's go with that.
Yep.
So that is like figuring out what ship is the biggest thing for me.
Oh, okay.
My brother actually does something smart. He opens up, every game for the past 2 years, he like opens up a notepad file and goes, on this day, I launched this, this, and this.
Exactly.
On this day, they launched that, and this. I'm like, I haven't done that. I've just been relying upon my own memory to figure out what I launched and when. So it's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I need to start now. Okay, keeping track of what I launch on paper or somewhere, like write down. On this date, I launched the XYZ.
Yeah, that's exactly what I started doing pretty recently, only like 2-3 turns ago in CG4. I now have CG4 has gotten so huge that with my fleets that I now have a spreadsheet. I have like an Excel document with like not all of the ships in all 4 of my fleets, but I have the Vikings don't even have a sheet yet, partly because they don't have like many gunships and they haven't been in combat hardly at all. But the pirates have like an extensive page with like not all their ships, because the gold runners I don't really need. I just like think about cargo and it's like, does it have a helmsman? If yes, subtract 1 cargo. That's how much resource it can load, and then I'm good basically. Because I pretty much know the base moves anyway. But then with the gunships and stuff, it's gotten completely insane because there's custom crew on a custom ship with custom equipment, and then there's all these like cargo logistics. Especially with the dinghy.
Yeah, point reducers and modifiers.
Yeah, and dinghy.
Yeah,
which adds
and
a
then
cargo space.
reducers or modifiers.
Yeah. So then I've started making spreadsheet entries for like most of the new pirate and cursed ships. So it's, and then I describe like a role for them and stuff. So someday hopefully I'll reveal some of that as things go along. But yeah, and now with the reports, I think as of the last report or maybe the one before it, I started actually saying like which ships were launched and from where and what they have on board, with the usual exception of like what they have face down. So it's like from Skull Valley last turn, 9 ships were launched for 308 total points. That helps me keep track of points in play, which I just like to know, so the next point count might not have to be like an hour and a half long, and then the ship count helps with hidden trove, of course, which is realistically there's probably going to be at least 1 hidden trove introduced per like round of turns, most likely,
if not more than.
Yeah, exactly.
If not more than.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I know the cursed have copying somehow or other. Either
Davy Jones.
They either have it on a ship or they've they
have like a triple. They got it like a 3-headed monster with Davy Jones, and then they've got Eye of Insanity to essentially copy Davy Jones. Copy your copiers. So yeah, it's insane. Oh, and then they have my custom movie Flying Dutchman, which can be used to place ET on an enemy ship. So but yeah, so
that might be troubling.
Yeah, so then like from Skull Valley, for example, like it'll say like Freedom Fighter plus Captain Archer Rook, and then I say like abbreviated abilities in parentheses, and then One-Eyed Bennett, C plus H for Captain and Helmsman, and then 4 Oarsmen, because Captain Archer Rook has the sack ability. So yeah, so that's a way I've kept track of things. I'm still gonna have to like refer back to the spreadsheet all the time, but at least this way I don't have to like find a ship's deck plate on the Vassal save game file and like bring up all the crew, see what they do, all that. I'll still do that once in a while, but the thing I'm worried about for time investment.
I mean, that's how I've been keeping track of it for my fleets, because my fleets are still small enough to where that's a feasible way to track who's on what ship. It's like, all right, who's on the ship here? All right, cool.
Yep.
So fun thing, actually, I've been telling my brothers about the game, and they've like seen some of the reports and looked over my shoulder. Like when I've taken my turret, and then like Darkhurst has looked at that and gone, dude, I'm sorry I did this to you, bro. He's like, I think that, maybe when the game ends, I'll make a retcon to the arcane or something. he's like, yeah, because he's like, I don't want to mess with you guys while you're going with the game.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I was like, if and when this ends, let me know, and I'll tweak the wording on the arcane or something. It's like, or to make it, less broken. Because when you first did that, I was like, wait a minute now, where'd this come from? And then I realized, okay, let me have a word with you, bro.
It's all in the family.
Like, what have you done? Oh, yeah. Especially, when you first started putting the things together, I think your first move was you copied it with Vezok. And then the first thing you brought on was the thing that I did from Spherus Magna, the super rare UT, I think I called it Nuva.
Yeah.
Which allowed any ability on that ship to be used by another friendly ship with an S.
Yep.
Share the love, kind of.
Yep.
And you, had 3 cracks at it, and you were like,
exactly.
I see.
Yep.
And the other moves you did to set it up, you had Runes of Thor and, multiple Nemo's plans. It's like, oh, good grief.
Yeah. Yeah, it started with the one from the Noble Swan, because she had Nemo's plans and Runes of Thor. So that got it going. Just that in Arcane is enough to make a massive fleet and all sorts of combos. Because then you guarantee the 6 to bring in Hidden Trove, and then you're basically good from there. You're off to the races. But then when you start stacking the Arcane with copiers, and then a copy, essentially Nuva allows me to copy a copier with an oarsman, essentially. And then so then I get 3 cracks at it, but then I can it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or I call it, I think in one of the reports I call it a closed loop. Because then you use Arcane to bring in more copies of Runes of Thor and Nemo's plans, so then you have a second copy of each of those. You guarantee the second 6 to always hit, which I think they did last turn. I still got to catch up on it because it's been so long, and then once they get a third copy of both, I'll have 3 guaranteed UTs per turn to bring in. So it's completely insane. So then with Evenstar, when it triples Hidden Trove, so now there's 335 ships in play, whatever, so that's 670. So times 3 is about 2,000. So they're getting to the point where they can rake in 2,000 gold per turn, guaranteed.
That's that's bonkers. Although I'll give you a spoiler from, I think, the last game we did, the summer game from 2020. The Pirates had, by traditional gold running, they broke 10K.
Oh my god.
Which was just blew my mind. I was like, okay, you've got 10 pennies, fine, get yourself a dime. And that's 10K gold or something. I was like, what are you going to spend that on? I'm like, he's like, I don't know. I'm guaranteed second place at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He was like, okay, well, no one's gonna catch that, probably.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
yeah, I don't like when they.
That's a very shiny coin you have there.
Yeah, he should spend it on. I've already commented on this on your past videos, but he should spend that on gold to launch ships to knock out whoever has the most ships, so then he can win instead of saving for second place, which is boring. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, he already had a massive fleet of stuff, so he was like, I don't think I need any more. But also, we get to a point where we run out of stuff to launch a lot faster.
Yeah, true.
Because our physical collection isn't as massive, and we only, use custom stuff, the first 2 or 3 sets that we made.
Yeah.
So that's Return of Davy Jones, the Fiends of the Blood Islands, and Darkhurst's Dark Tides.
Yeah.
And not all of them are off the paper.
Yeah.
So we don't have every single ship ever, and we only have a limited number of the custom stuff. So it's like, okay, as wars and stuff go on and just weird things happening every now and again with the ship sinking sometimes, eventually you get to a point where there aren't any more ships to launch.
Yep.
Or I don't have a place to put the deck plates for this because we physically don't have the room for it.
Yeah.
So it's I could launch some more, but I don't have a place to put the deck plates to keep track of what I've got going.
Exactly. And that's crazy.
And or there's the other personal reasons where he just doesn't feel like launching it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, the Pirates are probably issue with Vassal with launches is like the lag eventually. I'm really encouraged to hear that your new computer or newish computer has decreased the lag issues for you because that's what I've been running into in CG4 the last like 2 or 3 turns when the game is like completely blown
Uh-oh.
up. Because I just went from like 5,300 points to like 7,400, and I'll be honest. There's probably going to be another like 1,500 or more points introduced this turn. So,
Oh yeah. Between
so
the Pirates, the Cursed,
oh
and
yeah,
your other guys, the
yeah.
Corsairs and the Vikings.
I just
Now,
realized that this turn should allow the game to eclipse Command the Oceans as the biggest game of all time.
oh
So, yeah,
dang.
it should happen this turn. And then what happens soon after that we'll reach the 5 digit mark. We'll reach 10,000 total points
Oh
in
boy.
play.
Oh boy. Oh man.
And the
That'll
Pirates
be
are going to
interesting.
have like 5,000 of it. Oh my god, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The Pirates have been in a huge rush the past like maybe 4 or 5 turns to establish more launch points because now they have 4, but with the amount of they have essentially
Yeah,
like
and it's
almost
still
unlimited
not
gold.
enough.
So yeah, exactly, yeah. Because I'm looking at the pictures from the last report right now. They launched like 41 ships last turn, 1,200 gold spent. I think they still have like 500 left or something, and then they can just get another hidden trove. So even with 4 launch points, they're still running out of space. So they have to establish more military ports just to launch all the stuff they're trying to launch. So eventually it'll slow down a bit, but it'll be I would estimate at least 2 more turns before that. And then the Cursed are actually still kind of getting started with some of their launches, or they're still
Yeah.
establishing launch points.
I don't know what concerns me the most, the Pirates or the Cursed. I don't know which one of those scares me the most in the game. Like, oh no. Because I know I've met a lot of like, powerful cursed stuff.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah. I have too. I made a
and then
lot
there's
of
all
good.
your stuff from your Epic C set
Oh yeah.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh boy, this is gonna get interesting, or like ugly real fast.
Yeah,
It's like, oh man.
It's gonna be crazy. Oh yeah, I was gonna say about the
Yeah.
deck plate thing. I had that deck plate issue in Command of the Oceans. You probably remember those pictures where like they're crammed, like the
Yeah.
titles of the ships are like
Oh
crammed
yeah.
as close as possible. And there were a few times when I actually had enough square crew chips to put on the deck plates, but that took up too much space because I couldn't stack them properly. So I actually didn't even use them sometimes. I would just use the tiny little papers that said like Captain Alex
Yeah.
Mooresman on them because that allowed me to stack the deck plates closer and have more rooms. Eventually, that massive area where like the Franco-Spanish and some other faction, I think part of the Pirates were there. That area had I don't know,
I thought it was
probably
the Americans.
yeah, they had stuff there too. I think it was probably at least 180 deck plates or more in like a
Jeepers.
3 by 1.5 foot like rectangle, something like that. It was insane. So yeah, it's crazy. That's where you have to be careful. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
experienced like I solved this issue a while ago, but with like air conditioning up in that room where I used to live and stuff. But I don't know if you ever had the issue of like if it gets hot and there's like a fan and like if you like move the fan the wrong way, like
we've had that issue.
all the paper crew chips like fly. Dude, it's bad. So you have to like
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
spend like 20-30 minutes like setting back up like the crew locations.
Yeah. Yeah, we know about that. The games we play in the summer, again, remind you, emphasis, it's in the summer, and I live in Southern California.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It gets hot.
Yep.
I mean, there's air conditioning in that room, but it sometimes isn't enough.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, here's the debate. Do we open up the doors and hope that there's a breeze?
Yeah.
Or do we just turn on the air conditioning, and then when the air conditioning on, everyone stands in a line under the vent and goes, cold air to refresh. I'm like, okay, then we go back to playing when it turns off. Yeah. And like, I haven't tracked this at all, but I hypothesize that myself and my 2 brothers have every year maybe lost a pound over the summer from sweating in that room because it's insulated and stuff, but it gets direct sunlight almost all day.
Yeah.
So it heats up in there, and then the heat stays in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because the air doesn't move. It's a converted garage.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
And like the standing fan that we had that went back and forth oscillating, that broke like 2 years ago. So we've had to get like, smaller fans that aren't as effective, that don't reach as far. But even then, we're still like, okay, where can we put this to where it probably won't hit where we put the deck plates?
Yep.
Because invariably, we had the same problem too. Like, okay, the little crude chips, we ran out of those eventually. So we just wind up using like a bunch of paper ones. And sometimes it's like, hey, we're out of the paper guys too. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like,
Jeez.
yes, really.
Time
Can
to
you
print
some more?
Yep.
Okay. Time to print some more.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Classic.
the ones that get used the most are like captain, helmsman, and I put an oarsman on every ship.
Yep.
Just to prevent it from being captured.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, all right, there's no reason to not have an oarsman if I, in theory, have unlimited amounts of gold.
Yep. Yeah, and in terms of like recording stuff like that, I've gotten into this like meta of like recording information in the spreadsheet I have for CG4, where it's like, for me, that's just CHO. It's all caps, just CHO. No spaces, just Captain Helm's Orders, and I just know it. Like that's just what it is. So it's CHO. It's Captain Helm's Orders. That ship is all three of those crew. That's what that is. So now I'm gonna start. I think last turn is when I started. Yep. I put it in the battle report last turn because it's like it just started to become like a habit, and like there's so many ships and so many crew setups, you almost have to abbreviate because the pirates have like 148 ships or something. So it's like Muerta de la Corona plus Cho FPS. So it's like Captain House and Oarsman and then a firepot specialist. So that's what she's got aboard. So, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's so amazing. The campaign games are just so fun. It makes it so worth it. But anyway, some people will never understand.
I still have to remind myself that I don't think anyone else in the community that we know of, has the appetite for these big games like you and I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I have done more of the big games than I have of like games at a point value, or like weird scenario games too. It's like, So I think there's going to be eventually a difference, if more people like you and I emerge.
Yeah.
Like, okay, people who play competitive 40 to 50 to 60 point games, and then the crazy people like you and I who play the bigger games. It's like, yes, your favorite ship or your best ship for your game is, the Cruzado or, this Dick 10 Master. Whereas I'm over here playing my 40 point game and I think the best ship is the Banshee's Cry.
Yeah.
There's eventually, I think, down the line going to be a difference in like, okay, what kind of game do you play? Oh, I play the regular games, the tournament style kind of stuff. And you? Oh, I play gigantic campaigns.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember that coming up a little bit with the top 10 like rankings threads and posts and whatnot. But yeah, I think there are some others in the community that have maybe the desire to play the campaign games, but they don't necessarily have the space or time, or they're not willing to use Vassal, things like that, which I can understand all those reasons. But yeah, and I haven't had time for 6 months, so it'll be good to finally start my turn. It's probably not going to be complete for close to a month, but oh well, it'll be good. So
yeah, it's like yes, I get all the arcane rules, and now I gotta play Puppet Master. Okay, what UT do I put where?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so much like strategy and logistical. The pirate I'm not going to reveal too much. I will eventually, but the pirate fleet is like becoming this massive like logistical, like not masterpiece, but it's just like it's crazy what they're setting up. It's insane, and it'll become more obvious over time. But it's just wild. And then trying to keep track of all the custom abilities and whatnot is going to be hard because I'm looking at what they launched last turn, and I'm seeing more custom ship names than like regular ship names. So it's like Kordak, Freedom Fighter, Fiasco, Victoire, Albino. It's like 4 out of those 5 are custom. So it's like, okay, what do those do again? Oh,
yeah. That's the other thing we did for our games is we limited it because we realized very quickly that it could very quickly get out of hand.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, where do you draw the line of like custom stuff? And I don't like to limit custom stuff too much.
Yeah.
But we also play the games physical in reality, so we're like, okay, what can we realistically get our hands on? And we figure our first, the 2 sets I made, and then Darkhurst's first. And that's about it for now. You know, long term, every single set that, you know, he and I have made, we'd like to bring that off the paper.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in the immediate future, I'm probably going to look into getting some of the wooden ships.
Yeah.
But the 3D printing stuff is making things very interesting. So I was like, okay, where do I go to get, you know, a set of multiple hundreds of ships maybe, you know, made?
Yeah.
Because I think the next set of mine that I'd really want to bring off the paper is the one that has my ionics in it, you know, Spherus Magna, which, including equipment and limited edition pieces, has like, I think, 371 or something pieces in it.
Nice.
You know, some of them are crew and stuff. I think I numbered it weird too. There's oh well, but there's like a ton of things there, and then Darkhurst has like 1, 2, 3. He's got 3 that are published in the database, and then he and I together are working on like 2 more. So there's going to be 5 total from him and I.
Yeah.
And then I think my other brother, the Ginger Ninja, he wants to get in on making customs too. So it's like,
nice. Very nice.
Goody.
Yeah, because you and Darkhurst have 6 combined right now. You have 3 each, like in the spreadsheet.
I've got 3
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, in the database. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you said you have 5 more not in the database between the 2 of you coming along.
No, we have between the 2 of us just 2.
Oh, okay.
Between the 2 of us, just 2 more.
Yeah,
I'm like
cool.
Trying to put some pressure on him. Like, dude, let's get these out there. Let's get these out there. Let's get these out there. He's like, okay, in a minute or 3. Like, I gotta do these other things first.
Yeah.
Like, one of the ones that he's hung up on is some story inserts. So that would be on the tail end of whatever his most recent set is.
Yeah.
To, like, you know, introduce the next one. So it's like, that's cool. I like how you're thinking how you would do this if we were like putting these out into game packs. But like, bruh, can you please just write them or something, and then let's get to posting them like right away, quick, because it would be really fun.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I know Avery has a custom set in some development stage right now too, so that's cool. He posted that General's like land conversion mod at Pirates of Ben, which looks like something I might check that out for a future campaign game. But yeah, and then the Etsy shops, the Vulcan is making a lot of really cool stuff. Between him and Luca, you've got a couple potential suppliers.
Yeah, it's a tough call.
Yeah.
Well, I think Pirate Captain Andrew has his own Etsy as well, I thought. Or was I misremembering?
I
thought he did. It might have been in...
Maybe
I think there might be a link to it somewhere in Discord, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to look for it. But not only that, he's also provided the 3D printing files he's made so far, which is awesome. I'm trying to get one printed today after this.
I've got a few that he sent me. Like, I paid postage for him. Like, one of the things he did was he made like a 4-masted turbine ship, which is really cool.
Okay.
So like, I'm like, ooh, okay, I can, you know, instead of having like, you know, hack apart a 4-masted schooner, I can just, you know, maybe order like 3 or 4 of these from you to get my steamships.
Yeah.
You know, which are like, you know, paddle wheel steamships. Like, it's implied with the turbines that there's steam power going on. So I figured, okay, let's just, you know, add an extra mast and call them steamship, and they get like, you know, a speed bonus, but they can't have helmsman. So that was my what's the word I'm looking for? My compromise, I guess. There, so okay, we can introduce some steam, but keep it sort of fair, and still within the realm of like, you know, piratey stuff.
Yeah, and not only
although
has he provided like the files, you could, I think it would be cool. I don't know, like in terms of your custom sets, there's so many that I think it would be best if you guys got together and got a 3D printer and
print them ourselves.
Figured out like the decaling or some kind of artwork solution, because it would be not that the
because as it is, it's looking like me hand painting all these guys.
Yeah, that would take forever. Yeah, I want to.
I'm kind of interested in the ones that Luca makes, because he laser etches them. So it's like, okay, it's a coloring book. Just fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
I don't have to like, you know, put all like, you know, the lines for the deck plates in there like, you know, the hull plating, whatever it is in there as well, like the boards and the thing, the little cannon, you know, fiddlesticks, there's a name for that. But you know what I'm talking about, you know, the cannon holes on the sides of the holes. Yeah, the portholes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I can just, you know, fill in the blanks with like a marker or like some paint or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that are 3D printed, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to put like on a primer coat, and then I'm going to have to, like, you know, maybe figure out all the other artwork for all this. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably do it. I've got semi-decent painting skills, but I'm a wee bit more comfortable, I think, maybe painting an island, because I can afford to be a little sloppy.
Exactly.
And then the wooden ones, I can just use a marker for that, or like some kind of art pen, and it costs a wee bit less.
Yeah, but I think what I want to do with my customs, very long term, this is probably years away, but is like design the artwork and then have it printed on like a decal that I just put on a 3D printed ship. Cause I don't want to spend all that massive time investment like painting the ship and stuff like that, especially because then it's not permanent. Because then you have a single copy. You essentially have like a one of one prototype of a custom. You can take pictures, of course, of it disassembled and scan the artwork that way, I guess, after painting if you wanted to. But I'd rather design decals, save digital versions all over the place, and then other people can print those.
Yeah.
And I just print a copy of the decal for however many I could have copies of that custom ship. It would make native canoes easier too. I mean, that's not a big deal, but yeah, I feel like 3D printing and the decals is the way to go, at least right now. I mean, of course, I could change my opinion on that, but as other options are available. Oh, that's another thing. Gigi at the Discord is using like direct printing or something. I need to actually catch up on how people have done things because I've been out of it so long, from Discord especially, for so long, that I still need to catch up on the posts there in terms of like analyzing what each person is using and like if they've talked about how they're using it. But I know Gigi's using some kind of direct printer or sublimation or something like that, and his actually looked pretty good, quite good so far too. So
yeah, I have no idea what kind of, you know, magic Vulcan is doing to make the ships look like that, or the other guy for that matter. I'm like, how the heck are you guys doing this?
Yeah, for me,
so
it's
we gotta
like
figure out, you know,
how they narrow down like the sizes. Because I was 3D printing last year, and it's tedious work to like get it to print properly so everything fits together perfectly. It's definitely doable. It just takes time for each and every ship type. But I haven't even gotten into the decals yet, so that's one thing I want to get into eventually, either with a Cricut, like Cricut, or some other way of doing it. So yeah.
Yeah,
I think it would be awesome if you guys had your own, because I know you guys have the passion for pirates. It's just right now I think you're just lacking equipment in a way. So
yeah. Well, there's also real world things we got to consider as well for, like, you know, stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yep. So you think the CWC might start June 11th or 12th is tentatively the plan?
Yeah, that's the tentative start date. Yeah. Okay, funny thing, that weekend is like, you know, I think the 10th is like a graduation for the high school that my brother goes to. He's not graduating, but he's part of the band, so he plays Pomp and Circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
And the day afterward is like, you know, I think the 11th is like, I'm done with finals. I've played, you know, the Pomp and Circumstance. I want to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, buddy, sleep or something. He's like, talk to me Saturday. We'll do this again Saturday. Maybe. Or something. Yeah. That's the tentative start date. And yeah. So nice. I've got to get all the reports from last year made and put out there. Yeah. And I'm thinking my plan might be just, you know, get like a string of them together and just go bup, 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 one every day.
Yeah.
So hopefully this next week I can, you know, get some scripting, get some recording done. Yeah. And then maybe the week of the 24th, they'll just start coming out on a daily basis.
Nice. Yeah.
But the other thing I got to try to do is I got to, there's some stuff I want to say, but I kind of want to hold it in suspense.
That's fine.
But I have all of a sudden, I've hit, the creative juices have hit me.
Nice.
The whatever it is, you know, whatever So I'm like, ooh, there's some things I can make. There's some things I can make, some terrain, some ions. I'm like,
nice.
This could be good. This could be good. I'm like, Yeah, there's like, because I had been like, thinking, okay, the 2020 game, that might be our last one for a while because of like, trying to like, move out or whatever and like, get steady employment and stuff. We might not have time or all be together to play the game. So I was like, yeah, I should get the reports done, but it might be the last one, and I don't know if we'll do it again next summer.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just put it off. But now that we're here, and now that some things of like, dominoes have started to fall, I'm like, okay, now I can see it happening.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh, let's try to make it even bigger and better than last year, which is like, honestly, I think that's going to be tough to do because there's some stuff that happened in that game itself that is like, oh man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
nice.
There's stuff I gotta do.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll let you get to it then, I guess. Unless you want to add anything else. Sounds really exciting.
Yeah. So like after like spending like like 3 or 4 months like not exactly feeling it, now I'm feeling it. I'm like, yes.
Good. Nice.
Yes.
Good deal. All right. Sounds good to me. So you got CVC coming up, making preps for that. I'll get to my CG4.
Yeah, the 21 game.
Yep. And then soon after this, I'm gonna get my printer plugged in and see if I can have any success with it. So awesome. All right, thanks for coming on, and this was a good welcome back along with the vlog I made earlier today. So thanks everybody.
Yeah, it was nice to chat and catch up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you have any questions of the day for anybody?
Maybe put me on the spot like that.
I can try it.
Okay, since we've talked about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What?
No, you go ahead.
Since we've talked about custom stuff a lot, I guess what's your favorite aspect of a custom ship? Is it stats and abilities? Is it flavor text? Is it bringing that thing you designed on paper off the paper by printing it, or some other factor? Like, what's your favorite aspect of it?
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like that. Mine would probably be like designing like unique game pieces and like kind of like somewhat crazy powerful stuff usually, and then connecting that to flavor text is fun. But yeah, do you have a favorite part? Because you could answer your own question.
I like the entire process.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, me too.
Like, making the abilities, making the stats, designing the flavor text, and then trying to figure out a way to make that thing come off the paper.
Yep.
Previously, I had been using just, extra ships that I had laying around, like duplicates. I'm like, I got to a point where I realized, maybe I should just hold on to these duplicates.
Yeah.
In case I want to trade them to somebody later, or I need to sell them to make some money.
Yep. Or replace your well-worn copies after COEC 2031.
Yeah. Knock on wood, if we manage to keep doing this annually, my brothers and I, the end goal is to have all of our custom sets, all of and then all of the WizKids stuff, from Spanish Main up to and even the unreleased stuff, and then just have at it for put aside a summer or longer. Maybe plan for it longer, a year maybe. And just physically in person go at it.
Yep.
Because I think the largest physical game ever is still Your Command the Oceans.
True. Yep.
CG4 is going to become the largest game of all time, but that was also played on Vassal.
Yeah. Yep. I might have to get on that year-long game. That sounds like something I might have to show up for. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That sounds epic.
That might be the other thing we do is okay, get a year-long campaign, physical game, myself, my brothers, maybe other people too.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of having 3 players in person, we can have 4 or 5.
Yeah, exactly.
But finding 2 other people willing to put in that much time and effort might be difficult.
Yeah.
In theory, maybe down the line we'll get married and we can have a spouse that is willing to play with us, but it's I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sounds like a ton of fun though. I guess my question of the day would be, what material do you prefer new ships to be made in. So I guess the options would be like 3D printed PLA versus 3D printed ABS versus wood, such as what Cloud of Craft Gaming makes, versus any other material that you've either worked with or have purchased from somebody. Doesn't have to be a custom ship, could be a WizKids replica, whatever. Just what material do you prefer? I guess other than styrene, because we know styrene works really well, and
Yeah,
it is tough to
that's what
make.
WizKids chose.
Yeah, it's tough to make PLA 3D printed chips that work as well, but that's what a bunch of people are still working on and perfecting. So, anyways, that's my question
Yeah.
today.
I know that there is a difference between ABS and PLA, but I'm not an engineer or material person like that, so I don't quite know what the difference is. But I think it's about rigidity and how
Yeah,
much they're willing to bend.
yeah, that's part of
I know
it.
that the wood stuff I think is pretty good so far. I've got some of those ships from Cloud of Craft as well.
Yep.
I need to put them together and get them in a couple games or something maybe
Yeah,
and
yeah.
see how they work.
Hopefully they'll be in CWC 2021. That'd be awesome to see them there.
Oh,
Uh,
I intend to have them there.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Smaug is in there, I think, among others. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
another added to the list of things I got to do. Is I got to color those in and paint them and stuff.
yeah. Nice. All right, so that's our questions. Let us know what you think of the podcast. Let us know if you'd like to be on the podcast. And this was A7XfanBen and Xerecs signing off from Pirate CSG Podcast number 52. Thanks for listening.